Actually, I have prepared so many content, resources, knowledge to teach you, but the lessons are suspended. So, and we don't have enough time. So your learning content, okay, will not exist the following content. And I don't want to add you so many pressure. Our reading chapters and the lessons on Zoom focus on chapter 19, chapter 35, and chapter 47. Okay, 3 chapters only. And also, in the same time, you should pay attention on the assignments in Google Classroom. For example, we have a Google writing exercise in Google Classroom on or before 11th October. That means yesterday, the deadline. And you also have a geography project about globalization, and I will tell you later how to do. If you understand peace tire, okay. Yeah, thank you. Although we don't have enough time during the suspension, but I will try my best to share as much content as possible. And I have put everything in the Google Classroom. For example, the PDF chapters with highlighted key sentences and words, and the PPT file about the chapters are all in the Google Classroom. And you can go through or do with your revision, okay, by searching the resources in the Google Classroom. If the lessons are suspended for a long time, there are still some quiz and other exercise in the Google Classroom or by using the Google Form and Zoom, but these are need to be determined later. Okay, understand? If you understand, please type okay. Okay, now let's have the geography lessons first. Because your geography project, okay, the project is related to chapter 37. And there are 2 parts of today's lesson. The first half of this lesson, I'm going to introduce the second half of chapter 35. In the second half of this lesson, I'm introducing you how to do the geography project. Oh, hello. Can you see another PPT? Can you see the another PPT? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Right now, I'm going to introduce you the second half of chapter 37. Okay. Before the suspension, we focus on the good sides of globalization. Okay, the benefits, the advantage of globalization. But the second half of this chapter focus on the bad sides, the disadvantage of globalization. Okay, the chapter discussed that why so many people pay against on globalization. Actually, especially at this moment, we can find that the disadvantage of globalization are a lot more than the advantage. Why? Can you give me some disadvantage of globalization? Why why many people pay against on globalization? Can you give me some examples or reasons of the disadvantage of globalization? Yes, yeah. 嗱，見到啲答案啦。 Yes. Okay. For example, some of you mentions that the pandemic, right? And why the pandemics? Why does the pandemic speed? Why do the pandemics speed very quickly now? Now, why? Why the pandemic speed very quickly now? Yeah, environmental friendly. Yeah, the environmental problems, right? We always pay attention on the money, right? Trade, business about globalization, but we don't care about the environment because we want to earn more money and then we destroy the environment. Yeah, can you give me some reason why do the pandemic speed very fast, very quickly now? Yeah, plans. Yeah, sure. In in general, okay, the reason is about globalization, right? Because of globalization, the nations and countries are connected together because of trade, business, and economy. And the transportation technology is a lot more convenient than in the past, right? So the pandemic speed very quickly. And also because of globalization, the economy are connected together through everywhere of the world. So many countries, they cancel their borders. The quarantine system is not so serious as in the past. For example, in the first wave of pandemic breakout in Europe, because so many countries in Europe are the members of European Union, right? And then they cancel the border. There are no more quarantine system in Western Europe. So you can see in the first wave of the pandemic breakout in Europe, the pandemic speed very fast in Europe. So globalization, right, and make the pandemic speed very fast. And I cannot say this pandemic is the most serious or fatal pandemic in human history, but this pandemic is the most worldwide pandemic in the human history. If you pay attention on the human in the history, for example, the previous pandemic in the world as like today's is the Spanish flu 100 years before, but most of the cases focus on Europe and America, and there are only very few cases in Asia, South America, and Africa. But you can see in this pandemic, everywhere of the world, where there are so many cases in everywhere of the world. And also, okay, please look at the pictures. Whenever the conference of WTO held in one place, and it attracts so many people from everywhere, okay, to go to the place and then to protest. For example, the WTO conference was held in Hong Kong in 2005. So many Korean farmers, okay, they fly to Hong Kong to protest. Why? This is about the disadvantage of globalization. Why? Why did so many Korean farmers, okay, they fly directly to Hong Kong, or whenever the conference of WTO held in a place, they fly to a place and then to protest? Why? Well, can you give me some reasons? 有冇人？ Yeah. Some students, okay, mentioned that, okay, the trade system is unfair. Okay, this is the key problems. Because when because when the countries join the WTO, okay, when they apply on the globalized system, okay, they cancel the borders, they cancel the tariffs. That means, for example, the US, okay, their agriculture apply on the high-tech machineries, machine technology to produce their agricultural products. So they can produce a large amount of agricultural products in a very cheap price, and then they directly, okay, export their product to Korea, right? A large amount of agricultural product to Korea, and because Korea joined the WTO, they cancel the borders, they cancel the tariffs. Then the local farmers, okay, they cannot compete with the producer, the manufacturer of the agricultural products in US because they produce efficiently and their price is very cheap. So many local farmers in Korea lost their jobs, and then their plantation collapsed. Okay, do you know what I mean? If you understand, please Thai and okay. So this is the problem of the trade is unfair, right? Because they cancel the border, they cannot protect the local workers no more. So this is one of the disadvantages of globalization. Or you can look at the picture, okay? The banners, okay? Whenever the meetings of WTO held, it attracts so many people, okay? Different groups of people, okay, to protest. For example, you can look at the banners, okay? What did they say? For example, globalization is injustice, right? It's unfair, and we should defend our forests, okay? We need to protect our environment. But the policy of WTO or the policy of globalization emphasize on economy, okay, money so much, but they ignore, they don't care about the protection of environment. Okay, our work is not for sale. Okay, we cannot only focus on money, but we should pay attention of the environment, right? For example, we should protect the wildlife animals, the sea turtle. Okay, the Korean farmers, okay, are passionate in protect the WTO policy. Okay, WTO kill work people, stop model, because they when as just I said, the farmers, okay, they cannot compete with the high-tech manufacturer. Okay, WTO destroy the forest, so we should protect the environment more. For example, in some developing countries, right, before globalization, okay, they just they are in the agricultural society. They pay attention on farming. Although they are poor, their environment is still good. But after globalization, so many foreign investment, so many foreign factories, okay, they establish their factories on the developing countries. And then these manufacturers, these factories emit so many pollution. It emits so many pollution on the land, on the water, and then it destroys the environment. And also, because of globalization, they pay attention on the cheap price of raw materials. That means, for example, they collect the wood, the mine on the developing countries. So they destroy the land, the forest of the developing country. And the local people, okay, they cannot share most of the benefits, but their environment are destroyed. Understand. If you understand, please type okay. Also, okay, if we think that, okay, globalization is good, but if you pay attention on the news, last year, UK leave out the European Union. Why do UK, okay, the British leave out the European Union? Okay, can you give me some reason why? Why is UK, okay, they want to leave out the European Union, but indeed they have left the European Union? Can you give me some reason? It's about the bad sides of globalization. Yeah, sure. Okay, Marwan said, okay, the refugees. Yes, it's correct. Any more reason? Why did UK leave the European Union? Okay, they have left the European Union last year. Yeah, refugee. Marwan said, okay, because when the UK stay in the European Union, and we know that, okay, there are so many conflicts and wars in North Africa and in the Middle East. Okay, so many refugees, they fall to the Europe, right? And then if you are the member of European Union, you need to share, you have to share the quotas of the refugees. That means a large amount of refugees fall to UK, and then it causes the instability of the society of UK, and it also caused so many security problems. For example, if you pay attention on the news, okay, about 5 years before, okay, some refugees or some immigrants, okay, from Middle East, from North Africa, okay, they launched a very serious terrorist attack in Europe, okay, and not in Europe, in UK, in London, and so many people died. Because when large amount of refugees, you join the European Union, you join the trade, the international organization. That means you cannot maintain your local policy no more. Okay, you need to follow the policy of European Union. Okay, to share some quota of refugees. Okay, when there's a large amount of immigrants, okay, they stay in UK, then they cannot find a job, they do not have high education, they cannot adapt the culture of UK, okay, and then it caused the instability and security problem in the society, and then they launched the terrorist attack. And it also increased the unemployment rate. Understand, if you understand, please type and okay. Yeah, I also, okay, Yannis also mentioned, okay, the trade deficit, 貿易逆差，係嘛? Yes, it's true. Because when UK stay in the European Union, they need to follow the trade policy, the economic policy of European Union. That means, okay, the key mission of globalization is eliminate the trade barriers, the tariffs, the borders, right? That means so many factories in the Eastern Europe, okay, in other countries, their products can directly export to Europe and their price is cheap. Okay, so the local factory, the local manufacturers cannot compete with the foreign competition, and as they collapse, and then so many workers lost their jobs, or because of the cheap price in the developing countries, so many factories, manufacturer, production, they move to the developing country because of the cheap and abundant labor forces. So the government cannot collect the tax from the manufacturer, and so many employees, so many workers lost their jobs. They cannot protect the local benefits of the lower caste people. Understand? Do you know what I mean? If you understand, please type okay. And also, okay, I don't know, I believe some of you have been to UK. Okay, if you are familiar in UK, you can find that in the latest decades, you can find that most of the workers in the restaurants, so many low-paid workers in UK are from the Eastern Europe, but not the local people. Because the UK follow the European Union's policy. Okay, there are no more trade barriers and the borders limitation. Okay, so many cheap labor forces, they fall to UK and to seek a job, and then so many workers in the, for example, in the restaurants in UK or some low-paid position are occupied by the foreign neighbors, and then so many local people in UK lost their jobs. So the in conclusion, okay, combining all of these reasons, okay, in the referendum 公投係嘛公投more than half of the UK people, the British, they vote that okay, they want UK leave out European Union. And in last year, okay, indeed, the UK has left the European Union. Do you understand? If you understand, please type and okay. Also, and if you pay attention on the Donald Trump's policy last year, okay, you can find that although Donald Trump, okay, he never came himself as a supporter of deglobalization, but we can find that most of his policy support deglobalization. For example, Trump, he withdraw. He need US withdraw so many international organizations. For example, the NFTA, the North America Free Trade Agreement. And also he also built a wall in the borders between US and Mexico. Okay, why Donald Trump? Okay, although the president of US is Joe Biden now, but he still apply more than half of the policy of Donald Trump. Okay, why did he withdraw so many international organizations? Okay, he also withdrew the Paris Climate Agreement about decreasing the emission of carbon dioxide. Why? Can you give me some reason why the presidents, two presidents, keen on some policy of deglobalization? Why? Can you give me some reasons? Okay, some students mention, okay, the president want to develop, okay, the economies. Okay, they want to protect development of local industries and manufacturing and economy. It's sure. Okay, they increase the tax. Yes, they increase the tax. For example, they connect. Okay, they impose. Okay, 25% to 30% of taxes on the goods of Chinese products. Okay, export to US. Okay, bring jobs back to US. Okay, it's correct. It's correct. Yes, it's correct. Yeah, I know most of you can get the points. For example, when US always they stay in the North American Free Trade Agreement, that means okay, the US cancel their tariffs policy, trade barriers, and borders, and then so many factories, manufacturers, okay, they move their production, their assembly line to Mexico, right? To Mexico because of the cheap and abundant labor forces. And then so many local workers lost their job in US. So Donald Trump said, okay, if we withdraw this kind of not trade organization, the international organization, that means our manufacturers or other countries' manufacturers, okay, they will come back to US and they create the jobs opportunity to the local people. And then the government can collect more tax on the producers. And also, okay, Donald Trump built a wall in the borders between US and Mexico. Why you stay, the US stay in the international organization, they cancel the borders, right? And there's so many refugees or illegal laborers flow to US. Why it caused so many security and problems in the society, and it also caused so many instabilities in the society, right? And it increased unemployment rate, and the local people already lost their job, okay, by the competition of the foreign neighbors. Understand? Understand? If you understand, please type and okay. Yes. For example, okay. Actually, in this week, okay, we can find that Macau also have the same situation. You can find that in this wave of pandemic in Macau, okay, most of the cases, okay, not most of the cases, all of the cases of the COVID-19 in Macau now are from the foreign neighbors, but not the local people. So you can find that if we apply on so many globalized policy, okay, the foreign people enter the local society, it will also cause many instability in the society. Understand? Okay, finally, so many supporters of deglobalization believe that actually the globalized policy, globalization is very unfair. It's very unfair. Why? Okay, if you look at these pictures, okay, can you give me some reasons of disadvantage of globalization? Okay, please type some reasons of the disadvantage of globalization related to the unfairness. Yes. Okay, the most of the laborers in the developing countries, okay, they just have the very low pay, low salary. Yes, it's correct. Anymore? Anymore? For example, many manufacturer or foreign investment from the developed country, from the wealthy country, okay, they move their assembly line, their production to the developing country because of the abundant and cheap labor forces, right? And then the local workers, they can have more job opportunity, but in the same time, they just have the very low pay, right? Very low pay. They cannot share most of the benefits of the foreign investment and the globalization, right? And also, they have the very long working hours, okay? And they work in a very bad environment and condition. So their living condition, their working condition actually do not have much change like in the past, right? They cannot share most of the benefits of globalization. The boss, the foreign investment, the developed country share, okay, gain most of the benefits. The local people, okay, they cannot share the benefits. Okay, they just have the very low pay, low salary, long working hours, and they live and work in a very bad environment, working environment. So most of the people, okay, they pay attention on globalization because they believe that it's very unfair. And also the globalized investment destroy many environment in the developing country also. For example, they apply on the electronic or chemical industries in the developing country, and then it emits so many pollutions on the water, on the land, and destroy the environment. Right, and the local people are not protected by the advanced labor laws, and their environment are not preserved. Okay, understand? If you understand, please type okay. Yeah, so it also, okay, Jennifer also mentioned, okay, it also caused the great gap between rich and poor. It is sure, okay, it's true. It's true because why the bosses, why the capitalists, the producer, they share most of the benefit, but the laborers, okay, the workers, okay, their living condition, their working condition is still bad. Okay, if you understand now, we go to the project about globalization. Okay, can you see the work file? If you can see, please type okay. Okay, what are you going to do in the project of this term? Okay, this project is very simple. It's easy to do. Okay, I want group of two students. Okay, you Form 4S, okay, have 34 students. Okay, you can form a group of 2 students, and you only need to write 2 pages of A4 papers according to the content and knowledge of chapter 35 and chapter 47. And actually, the content of chapter 47 are similar to chapter 35. And I also want good design. Okay, in the first page, what are you going to do is that you need to analyze a product under globalization, how globalization affects its manufacturing factors, such as capital, production, manufacturing, raw materials, the labor cost, transportation, sales, and other factors. And also, you need to insert a map to analyze the distribution of these elements around the world. So, for example, in your project, okay, you want to introduce car company, right? Automobile company. And then you said, okay, the engine are manufactured in US and Canada, right? Because they have more experts in making the engines, right? And they have the better techniques. You also said you can also say, okay, the tires are made in South America, South Korea, China, and Mexico, right? Because okay, the production of tire okay do not need the complex process, and then they need the abundant and cheap labor forces. Okay, for example, the seats are made in country C. Okay, the bumpers are made in country D. And then you insert maps, okay, to introduce these elements, okay, attribute in different countries. For example, the manufacturing line process in China, right? The design is in Europe. Okay, the sales, the store, the marketing is in US, like this. Or when like can tuner, okay, they connect the fish, okay, on Asia, from in East Asia, in the Pacific Ocean, right? And then the canning process, right? The canning process is in China, right? And finally, they sell to US and to Europe. You can see the distribution of the production and sales of the same product are distributed in different countries. Do it like that. Do you understand? Do you have any questions? You can type on the chat room. Hey, do you understand? If you understand, please type okay. Okay, this is the first page you need to do. 即係嗱，一張地圖係咪？你介紹一個產品，好啦，將個產品咧斬唔同嘅部分，係嘛？唔同部分嘅唔同部分咧唔同嘅程序係嘛？唔分佈喺唔同國家，然後你插翻幅地圖，講翻喺邊度。Okay, in the second page, what are you going to do is that, okay, according to the content of first page, do you support globalization? Do you support globalization? Yes or no question. Please analysis from the perspectives of politics, economy, environment, and fairness, as I just said. Or you can also answer another question. Okay, according to the content of the first page, do you think the current world trend is globalization or deglobalization? Okay, that means I'm asking you, do you support globalization according to your product? And we also know that, okay, there are the good sides and the bad sides of globalization. You can answer yes or no. Okay, you must write your own ideas, point of views, and arguments on these two questions. And you need to have example and statistic to support. And please write in your own words. And I want you to write an argumentative essays about this question. And I know Ms. Coco are teaching you how to write argumentative essays. So it's good for you to practice more in this project. For example, in the second page of this project, or in the first paragraph about introduction, you need to directly answer me, okay, yes or no. Do you agree? Okay, you agree or you do not agree globalization. Okay, the first point, why you agree or disagree. And then you should give me some example and statistic to support your point. Second point, third point, and finally, in conclusion, okay, do you agree? Do you support globalization? Okay, about by your analysis and interpretation. Do you understand? If you understand, please type OK. Okay, thank you. Okay, this all of this lesson. Okay, is the end of the lesson. Okay, you can have a big laugh. You can have a big laugh. 你哋下一堂係邊個老師啊？下一堂係有冇入咗嚟啊？係咪要交個咪俾佢啊？Okay, Kelvin sir. Okay, you can have a big laugh. 我留低一陣啦，我等佢入嚟啦。